them into the future. Hashtag Forever GI Bill. All right, so you learned a little bit about me, and you learned a little bit about SVA. So now it's time for us to learn a little bit about you. So in the question box in the webinar function, type in your name, your school, and one strength and one weakness of your chapter. So name of the school you can probably figure out pretty easily, but a strength and weakness. So what does your chapter do really well? Every chapter has something they do really well. And what don't you do so well? So a strength could be, oh, we have an amazing relationship with our campus dean, and we have a meeting once a month to talk about issues. That's a definite strength. Or do you host a Veterans Ball each year around Veterans Day, and people love to come to it, and you raise money and awareness, and everything is great. Or a weakness could be you have problems getting people to show up to meetings and to functions, or you have problems raising money, or you have a problematic administrator on your campus. All of these things are totally understandable. And just remember, the greatest organizations in the world struggle with something. It's our job as leaders to identify the strengths and weaknesses of the organizations we lead so that we can address them properly. So, in the question box, please give us that information. We really want to know where you're starting from. And there's a bunch of our SVA staff is on the other end of that question box, and we are here to support you. So, the goals of this Chapter Leadership Academy is to introduce the strategic planning process through what we call our chapter business plan. It's to help you define your chapter's mission. It's to build the goals to execute your mission. It's to expose you to some of the resources that are available to be a sustainable organization. And it's to guide you to help build the network that will aid you in delivering your plan. So, time for a little housekeeping. In the handout function of the webinar, you'll see one entitled Fill As You Go worksheet. Open this document and click the link. This link will take you to a Fill As You Go worksheet. And you'll need this to fill it out as we go through the content so that you can, by the end of the webinar, have the starting point of a business plan. So, hills and valleys. What am I talking about here? So, this is more than just a fun way to talk about emojis. So, every organization goes through high points and low points. We like to call it hills and valleys. You might be a new chapter leader, and so you're the new smiley face guy, and you just took over, and you're like, hey, I'm going to do awesome stuff. I have so many plans. Things are going to be awesome. But a few weeks go by, and now you're the second little face guy with the kind of the straight line mouth there, and you're like, huh, well, what am I doing here? I'm not really sure. And then before long, you're at the bottom of the hill and stuck in the valley with a big old frown on your face, and you're like trying to do stuff and nobody's showing up, or people are working against you and you really don't know what you're doing. Well, guess what, guys? It's okay. You're here now, and the goal of this training is to help you build a plan so that you spend as little time at the bottom of that valley and spend as much time up at the top. And our goal is, through training and being prepared, to spend as little time as possible at the bottom of that hill and to keep our organization very strong. So we do this through our chapter business plan. And what are the key elements of a chapter business plan? Well, first up is the campus culture. What are the things that make our campus unique? The mission, your reason for existing, goals. These are big picture things you'd like to achieve, objectives, things you think you will need to do to meet your goals, strategies, your actions, details about how you will work on your objectives, and last but not least, the budget. Money comes into everything, and we all know that. Now, we won't be talking much about a budget today, but don't worry, we'll get to that in a future Chapter Leader Academy. But keep in the back of your mind that we still need to worry about a budget at some point. So, first off, campus culture. What is it? What is the environment you're working in? Because the environment you're working in will have a lot to do with how you work in it and how you plan to execute a mission. So, what type of institution are you? Are you a four-year school? Are you a two-year school? Are you a four-year state school that everything revolves around football and tailgating and Greek life on the weekends? Or are you a to your school in a rural area. What makes your school unique? How many students do you have on campus, and what are the number of student veterans on campus? What's the population you're looking to attract and serve? Well, there's a couple ways you can gain this information. You can hit up your registrar's office and talk to them about these questions, and I encourage you to do that. That is an amazing relationship to cultivate. Or you can type into Google GI Bill comparison tool, and you can find your school in there, and it'll give you this information. Pardon me. Your chapter history. Where's your chapter been? Has your chapter been around since the 40s like my chapter was? Or is your chapter new to the game? Either way, you're fine, but it's always good to know where your chapter's been so that you know whether individuals on your community or on your campus have dealt with your chapter before and may have some preconceived notions. Or, do you have a proud legacy to live up to and an alumni base that you can lean on for support? What are your campus and community advocates? Who are those leaders that will advocate for you and your organization when you're not in the room? And membership demographics. So many of you are probably thinking, hold up, membership demographics? Isn't a veteran a veteran? We're all the same. Well, for the most part, but not quite. When I talk about membership demographics, I'm really talking about the needs, wants, and expectations individuals from different backgrounds may have in an organization they want to be a part of. A lot of our population is varied in age. We have men, women, people who had different experiences in the military. Some of us have kids. Some of us have spouses. Some of them might have multiple kids. Some of us have jobs or part-time jobs. And each of those things will play into how each of us has a different need, want, and expectation from an organization that we're part of. Think about this. A single parent of two has a much different needs, wants, and expectations from an organization than a 20-something Marine fresh out of the Corps. So keep all these things in mind when you're talking about your campus culture and building the organization that you're going to lead. So we do this through our chapter business plan. So let's talk about the structure of how a chapter business plan works. First up, mission, top of the pyramid. Everything works towards the mission. Below mission is goals. You should probably have 3 to 5 of these. The goals work toward the mission. You have some objectives. Each goal has a couple of objectives, and the objectives work towards that goal. And at the bottom of the hill, you got strategies. Strategies are the things you got to do to meet your objectives. And you always got to remember, strategies work towards objectives, objectives work towards goals, and goals work towards mission. Now, when you write your business plan, it's not actually going to look like this fun little pyramid graphic, but I like to use this so that you can visualize what we're talking about as we go through the different components. And don't worry trying to draw this thing in your notes. This graphic is available in the handout section of the webinar, so you can download it and save it and refer to it as you need it. So, like I said, at the top of the hill, or the most important thing, your mission. It defines your purpose and reason for existing. It's the who you are and the what you hope to achieve. It's simple, short, and it's to the point. It's a what statement. It does not get into the how of something. Don't tell me how you're going to do stuff. I don't care about how right now. Just tell me what you want to do. So now it's the time we're going to use a poll. So we're going to have a question up on your screen. Please answer this question honestly. Do you have a mission statement? It's okay, regardless of how you answer. We just really want to know where you're starting out from. And if you don't have a mission statement, or you have a mission statement that's not real good, that's fine. Just answer honestly. And we will be sure to address any concerns you have through our question function after you answer the question. And like I said earlier, any issues with the webinar or any questions about what I'm talking about, please just ask in the question function. We have a group of professionals here at SVA that really are here to help, and we really care about our jobs and we enjoy what we do. So please lean on us for assistance. That's why we're here. All right, looks like we got some good answers, so thank you everyone for participating. And please answer that as you're able, and we're gonna move forward and talk about building a mission statement. So this right here is an example of a bad mission statement. Not just a bad mission statement, a comically horrible mission statement. So you read this mission statement and you're not really sure what this organization is or what it's all about. And a mission statement shouldn't read like that. A mission statement should tell you what an organization is all about. So don't make this your mission statement. Use a mission statement a little more like this. This is the mission statement from the Blue Hen Veterans of the University of Delaware. And many of you might not realize, but each year at our national conference we have what's called our National Business Plan Competition, where the best business plans we receive as part of the application process for our chapter grant program, the best are selected and compete on the big stage at NatCon for additional grant funds. And Blue Hens won with this mission statement. All right, so the mission statement of the Blue Hen Veterans is, our mission is to provide Blue Hen veterans with the support and advocacy needed to successfully transition to college, excel academically, and gain post-graduation employment. So, now that we've talked about this mission statement, I know exactly what you're all thinking. What the hell is a Blue Hen? So, don't feel bad. I had to ask the guys over at University of Delaware myself. A Blue Hen is the mascot of the University of Delaware. So, this is a prime example of that chapter using the campus of their chapter in their mission statement. They identify as Blue Hen Veterans, which is the mascot of their university. So this is a highly polished mission statement, and it won. It's an award-winning mission statement. So don't feel bad if your guys' mission statement isn't this good yet. You're just getting started, and they put a lot of time and effort into this. We all need to start someplace, and that's where we're at today. So speaking of starting somewhere, it's time for a working group activity. So earlier I talked about a Fill As You Go worksheet. You can find it in the handout section. Open up that handout, click the link to the Google form. In that form, you will fill out the box entitled Mission. So it's time to design your student veteran organization's mission. Make sure it's a what statement. Make sure it's short, concise, to the point, and defines your organization's reason for existing. Make sure it's not a how statement. Don't tell us how you're going to do stuff. And like I said earlier, use the question function. If you need help with this, let us know. Put in there what you got and be like, hey, I need some help with this. Or if you have a pretty awesome mission statement you'd like to share with the group, and we could kick it around a little bit, also share that in the question function. We really want to take your all's mission statements and learn from them as a group, because if one of us succeeds, we all do. So if anybody has any questions or any mission statements they'd like to share, please share it in the question function, and my colleague Karen here will read them aloud, and we'll work through them as a group.
One chapter says they were formed to establish a social and educational network for U.S. military members, veterans, and all associated family members on campus. This SVA strives to establish a higher level of awareness of veteran-related issues throughout campus and the community through engagement, advocacy, and service.
Huh. Well, whoever shared that, thank you. It's brave to share in front of the group, especially to be the first one to share. So that is a pretty good mission statement, and let's go through the bullet points and kind of break it down. Is it a what statement? You know what? I say so. Is it short, concise, and to the point? Well, it might be a little long, but that's not for me to say. It is your mission, and as long as it's short, concise, and to the point for you, you're golden. And you know what? Does it define your organization's reason for existing? And that's really up to you all to define. So, if you think this is a good mission statement and it meets all these criteria, you're on point. So good job. Any others?
We have Tiana from the College of San Mateo. Their mission statement is to ensure the highest achievement for every student veteran and their dependents at the College of San Mateo by supporting their successful transition into higher education and the community by providing resources and camaraderie.
Nice. I'd say that is definitely a good mission statement. Thank you. It's definitely a what statement. It did get a little long at the end, but it's like I said earlier, it's up to you to define what your organization's mission is. And if you feel it's on point and it's exactly what your organization is all about, you know what? I think you're on point. But maybe spend a little time workshopping to try to trim it down a little bit. A good rule of thumb is if you can read your whole mission statement in one breath, you're usually short and concise enough. If you have to take a breath midway through, or maybe even more than one, you might want to trim it down a bit. Is there any others that like to share? Don't be shy, guys. We're all friends here.
We have Andrew from the Western Oregon University Student Veterans of America. Their chapter is dedicated to the academic integration and overall success of student veterans, their families, and their supporters.
Thank you, Andrew. You know what? You guys have it spot on. That's definitely a what statement. It's short, concise, and to the point. I think if that defines your organization's reason for existing, that is a perfect mission statement for you guys. So thank you for everyone who's sharing. And like I said earlier, if you have any questions on this, let us know through the question box. We're here to help. And if we're not able to, answer that question right away, don't worry. We will get to your questions because, like I said, this is what we do, and we really enjoy doing it. So now that we have a mission statement that's somewhat defined, let's talk about goal setting. Goals should be big picture results and outcomes. They can be short or long term, but a good rule of thumb if you're just getting going is kind of look at the academic year for most of your goals. They're what statements. They guide the decisions and define your priorities, and they support the organization's mission. So the key here is what statements. Don't tell me how you're going to do stuff. And like everything within your mission statement or within your business plan, everything works towards your mission statement. So we'll talk about a few quality examples that we like to talk about. The examples are serve as a voice for military veterans and their family members on campus, maintain and increase active membership of SVA chapter, and third, build chapter financial sustainability. So there's a reason we like to talk about these three goals, and I'll break them down each one at a time. Serve as a voice for military veterans and their families on campus. The reason this is a good goal is because this is something that many of us are already doing. So I think it's a great starting point for a goal. Something that you already do, you should really have it be a focal point in what you do as an organization. Second one, maintain and increase active membership of a chapter. There's a lot to do with the sustainability of an organization, and if your organization isn't sustainable when it comes to membership and people aren't being active in the organization, do you really have an organization? So you really want to take an active role in thinking about how you can increase active membership of your SVA chapter. The third example is build chapter financial sustainability. Like membership, finances and the sustainability of having quality financial sustainability is very important. These are examples. I'm not saying these have to be your guys' goals, but it's just fine if you want to borrow from here because we all are friends here. We're all working towards the same goal. So, why not share from the success of others? And just take, these goals or some others that you come up with and really make them your own. And as long as the goal meets your guys' mission, it's a quality goal. All right, so another working group activity. Take the Fill As You Go worksheet, and in the place where it says goal, list a big picture goal for your student veteran organization. This should address the results you are working to achieve to support your organization's mission. Everything works towards the mission, guys. It should be short, what statement, not a how statement. Don't tell me how you're going to do something. Just tell me what you want to do. And while we work through this, I'll put these examples back up so you can kind of see some quality examples of what goals have worked for other chapters. So, like before, if you need some help with this, type it in the question box, what you got and what you're trying to do. Also, if you have any goals you'd like to share, also share them. Put them in the question box, and we'll share them here with the group, and so we can all learn from the ideas that each of us have. So, does anybody have any goals they'd like to share?
We have one goal of ensuring chapter sustainability.
All right, short and sweet, very specific. It could mean chapter membership sustainability or financial sustainability, and all in all, any goal that works towards sustaining your organization for the long term is a quality goal. So thank you for sharing. Good job.
We have another to promote engagement and service of student veterans.
All right, thank you, Karen. That's a good goal. You know, it's as long as your goals work towards your mission and they meet the rules of being a what statement, not a how statement, you're really on track to, you know, have a quality plan. And it's not up to me to define what your goals are, just like it's not up to me to define your mission. That's up to you as a leader and as the organization as a whole. So as you work on your goals, you know, obviously write down what you think is your goal, but take your mission and your goals and the rest of this at the end of it and workshop it a little bit with your population when you have your next meeting. Get some buy-in on this. It's your chapter's business or strategic plan, not ours and not yours as the leader. It belongs to everybody. Anybody have another one they'd like to share?
Angela says one of her chapter goals is to engage every student veteran, family member, and/or supporter on our campus.
Oh, that's a lofty one. So unless you're on a very small campus, that is a very ambitious goal, and good on you for setting ambitious goals. It sounds like you guys are starting to get the hang of this, so good for you. And I think it's time to move forward a little bit. But again, if you have any questions about goals or mission or anything else we're talking about, please let us know through the question box. So we've talked about mission, we've talked about goals. It's time to talk about objectives, or SMART objectives. What are they? They're practical steps needed to achieve short and long-term goals. They define what you want to do, how you quantify it, your timeline to achieve it, and they need to be SMART. So you're all probably thinking, what is SMART? Why is it capitalized like that? Well, guess what? It's an acronym. And I know how all of us in the military community love our acronyms, so I thought I'd just throw another one at you. SMART means specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and timely. And before you break your wrist trying to write this into your notes, don't worry. We have a copy of this graphic in the handout section for you to refer to as you work on your SMART objectives. So what does this mean? When you write your objective, you want to make sure it meets SMART. Is the objective specific enough? Is it measurable? Is there something in there that can be measured? Is it actionable? Is it realistic? And is it timely, or is there a time measurement in it? So let's talk about a few examples to work out how SMART objectives work. So objectives work towards a goal. So the goal we're working against is to serve as a voice for military veterans, their family members on campus. All right, good goal. The objective to work towards that goal is to partner with a faculty member to create a needs assessment survey to be sent out annually. All right, it's definitely SMART and it works towards the goal, so that's a quality example of an objective. And we make sure you always have the measurable, it's realistic, timely, and you'll meet SMART. All right, let's do another example. Objective works towards the goal, so the goal is develop SVA chapter leadership, increase membership and participation. All right, and the objective to work towards that goal is to add 50 new student emails to our membership list for the fall semester. All right, so this is definitely SMART. It's specific. You want to add emails. It's actionable. SM. It's measurable. It's 50 is the measurement, and it's timely. By the end of fall semester. So the only way you can make this objective slightly better is by defining what fall semester is, by giving a specific date that you want to achieve this by. But all in all, this is a quality SMART objective. So I know we breezed through that pretty quick, but once you start working through SMART, it gets pretty simple. So time for another working group activity. Take the goal you built earlier and develop an objective to support that goal. Use the SMART handout we provided, and remember, objectives stem from the goal, and they always need to be SMART. And type in the question function if you have any questions on anything, or if you have a SMART objective you'd like to share.
We have one objective that came in: to maintain consistent SVA leadership continuity and a sustainable membership.
All right, so I think that meets most of SMART, but I didn't hear a time measurement. So that would be that's an objective, but to be a SMART objective, you'd have to put a time measurement in there. For example, by the end of fall term or by the end of the academic year. Put a date in there to give you a date to complete your objective by. Any other?
We have one that says to establish noteworthy engagement and service opportunities to ease transition of veterans into academia through their college career and into their professional careers.
Okay, that's a big one. That almost sounds like a mission statement all on its own. You might want to break that apart into a few different components so that you can work towards each objective, and then you're able to make it SMART by making it specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and timely. So thank you for sharing. You got some great ideas there. But just remember, when you take your objective, run it through SMART, and if it doesn't quite pass, just keep tweaking it until you get it there. But we're all just getting started on this, so it's okay to work through this as a group. Is there any others that would like to share?
We have Stephen, who one of their objectives is to partner with the Student Veterans Advisory Committee to create a needs assessment by the end of the fall term of 2017.
All right, I think that's a great objective, and it definitely meets SMART. It's specific, it's measurable, it's actionable and realistic, and it's timely because they want to complete it by the end of the fall semester. The only way you could make that a little bit better is look up the last day of the fall semester and throw that date in there. But otherwise, I think you're spot on. So thank you everyone for sharing. It's always great to hear your ideas so that we can all share in this learning together and borrow from each other's ideas as needed so that we can all work towards our goals together, because rising tide rises all ships. So again, if you have any questions, please let us know in the question function as we move forward and we talk about creating effective strategies. So most new chapter leaders that haven't done this before make the mistake of skipping everything and going straight to the strategies, to how they're going to do stuff. And what we've talked about so far is the importance of defining the mission statement, the goals, the objectives, and then talk about the strategies on how to achieve those. So now it's time to talk about how we're going to do stuff. They guide the actions taken to achieve our objective. They help define how you will do it, and they're detailed and specific to set approaches. So it's time to do some examples, and we'll use the same goal and objective from earlier. So the example goal is to build chapter sustainability. The objective that is working towards that goal is add 50 new student emails to our membership list for the fall semester. All right. So the strategy to work towards that objective is identify the go-to person who will add email addresses to the master list. Simple. It's one thing we need to do to achieve our objective. So it's definitely a strategy. All right, second strategy. Have an email sign-up sheet available at the SVA chapter table during Welcome Week. That's a solid strategy to get email addresses, so I think you're set on that one. And create an email link on the SVA chapter Facebook/webpage. All right, so you kind of get what we're doing with strategies here. They're just the specific things that we need to do to achieve our objective. And once we have a clearly defined objective that works towards a goal, it's pretty easy to come up with our strategies. All right, so now that we've talked a little bit about strategies, it's kind of time to write one of your own. So far, we've written a mission, we've written a goal that works towards the mission, we've written an objective that works towards the goal that works towards the mission. So now it's time to come up with a strategy to work towards your objective. Use the fillable worksheet and put in a strategy. If you have any issues or you need any help on this, just let us know. And if you have any strategies that you'd like to share, please do so.
We have one strategy, easing the takeover of future officers by creating a series of leadership continuity folders.
That's a pretty solid strategy. You could even break that apart into multiple strategies, but I think you got the right idea, so thank you. That's a pretty good one.
We have another strategy to establish additional positions within key organizations, such as the student government, on campus to highlight the leadership skills of student veterans.
All right, that is an amazing strategy. So this is not only a great strategy, but also a great best practice as a student organization. Get involved on campus. Your members can be members of other organizations or even leaders within them, and especially the student government. how better to advocate for your student veteran population on campus than to be involved at the campus level. So that is not only an amazing strategy, but just a good best practice that we all should think about if we haven't already done so. Do we have any other examples?
We have one strategy to quadruple the funds raised in 2016 and 2017 by SVA in support of programs, activities, and scholarships.
All right. So that is a great idea. I think that might be more of an objective than a strategy, but I think if you take that and you kind of split it apart, you're right on track, because the way you would make that an ideal strategy is you'd say specifically how you're going to increase those funds. But thank you for sharing. Anybody else have anything they'd like to share?
Another strategy is to establish a student veteran alumni group on campus within the leadership team focused on fundraising and maintaining relationships within current chapter members.
Oh, that's a great strategy. And again, that's one you could break apart a little bit and kind of, piece it out step by step on the things you want to do to achieve that. But thanks, guys, for sharing. I think it sounds like everybody's kind of getting the hang of strategies. So again, keep these pieces coming, and don't just stop at the end of this. Keep building these things out and improving them, because success has a lot to do with planning and training. Right now we're doing the training so that you can do the planning. So make sure you focus in on these pieces. So I don't think y'all really realized it yet, but in this short amount of time, we've learned the basics of what a chapter business plan is. We talked about the campus culture. It's the environment that we're working in. It's what are the things that make our campus unique. So after you figure out the information that we talked about on the campus culture slide, take that information and assemble it into a paragraph, and just put that paragraph right into your business plan. You can put it right before your mission. That way, when you read your business plan, you know exactly the environment that you're operating in. Your mission statement. It's your reason for existing. Everything works towards the mission. Goals. Big picture things you'd like to achieve. Objectives. Things you think you will need to do to meet your goals. Strategies. Your actions, details about how you will work on your objectives, and the budget. They're how you're going to pay for it all. So I know we just did a lot of learning in a very short amount of time, and you're not expected to be experts on that. And my colleague Mark will be on next to talk about how you can take all this information we just learned and take it to the next level to really make it something that you can work towards. So I want to leave you with this. Don't overthink things. Just get shit done. I say this because often as leaders, when we're faced with an obstacle, we really get hung up on the how we're going to do it. You know what? Take that mission statement or take that obstacle in front of us and do something about it. Just, get shit done, and you'll be successful. I love this photo. This is the programs team here at SVA. On the right is Becky, in the middle is Karen, who you heard reading off camera. And this is us. We don't only provide programs here at SVA, but we participate in them, and this is us at a service project. The goal of the SVA programs team is to provide the programming you need as student veterans to be successful. So please let us know what we can do to support you. On this slide here is my contact information. You can reach me at eric.gage@studentveterans.org. You can find me on LinkedIn at Eric L. Gage, or you can follow me on Twitter at Eric L. Gage. And the key pieces about LinkedIn and Twitter. LinkedIn is an amazing tool that we can use to network. And many of us don't realize the pure importance of networking. And our guest lecturer, David, will talk a little bit more about the importance of having a quality network as we market our organization. But guess what? I am now part of your network. So find me on LinkedIn and reach out if you need anything. Or, you never know, I might be reaching out to you for something. And follow me on Twitter. I like to tweet about stuff we do here at SVA, or stuff I see out the chapters are up to, or things I see our partners are doing. Anything that I find interesting, or I think you guys might find interesting. And again, please let us know how we can support you as a chapter leader to be successful. So with that, I'll close. I'm going to hand this off to Mr. Mark McKenna, the Director of Chapter Support here at SVA, and thank you for your attention, and please hold while we transition.
Good evening, everyone. As Eric mentioned, my name is Mark McKenna, and I have the coolest job in the world as the Director of Chapter Support here at SVA National Headquarters in Washington, D.C. Now, in order to tell you why I have the coolest job in the world, I'm going to have to tell you a little bit about my journey and how I ended up here at SVA. I joined the Army when I was straight out of high school in 2006. I told my parents for many years that I was going to join the Army, and they didn't believe me until I started taking. They forced me to take the SATs when I was in high school, and I did pretty well, and they were convinced that I should go to college. There was a couple of colleges that reached out to me and asked me to apply, as they do when you get a decent SAT score, and I told them I wanted to serve my country first. I was going to put my higher education on hold, as I suspect many of you in this room probably did the same. I ended up stationed in Fort Lewis, Washington. I was an infantryman in a Stryker brigade up there. And I spent the next 3 years training to get deployed to Kandahar, Afghanistan, which I spent a year there from 2009 to 2010. And when I returned, I had a very familiar experience, probably most of you have had as well, where the retention NCO came to visit me towards the tail end of my enlistment. And he started telling me about how I needed to sign this dotted line and get 4 more years to get 4 more years to the Army. And I realized then that I had just found out about this wonderful benefit called the Post 9/11 GI Bill, which was the most robust benefit since the original GI Bill of Rights. And I decided that going back to school and finally pursuing my higher education was going to be preferable to the deserts of Kandahar. So I ended up, as luck would have it, in the desert of Tucson, where I went to the University of Arizona, and I studied Middle East and North African studies for 4 years. The first 2 years of my college career were definitely challenging. I think probably a lot of you can relate to this experience where I was really having trouble connecting with the traditional students. Most of the time I was just like the weirder older guy sitting in the back of the room with the beard, kind of glaring at everyone. They couldn't talk to me and I couldn't talk to them. We didn't know how to talk to each other, and it's no one's fault in particular. It's just the way it was. But of course this led to me feeling pretty isolated, which led to some depression, which meant that my grades started to drop, and I heavily considered dropping out. I thought that maybe the college wasn't for me. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I belonged in the military. Maybe I should go back. So I decided I need to make a change. So I got a job at my Veterans Resource Center there on my campus at the University of Arizona, tutoring English to veterans specifically. I'd shown some aptitude for writing essays, developing thesis statements, stuff like that. So I thought I'd help my fellow veterans kind of hone that skill set. And of course, once I ended up at that Veterans Center, I found a thriving community of student veterans, which my SVA chapter had helped build. This community was so important to me because I was missing out on that shared sense of purpose that I had when I was in the military, and I could share my struggles and experiences with these people in the Veterans Center that were experiencing the same exact things as I was, going through the same struggles. So of course, as luck would have it, my grades improved, my general mood improved. I made a lot of friends there, and then I even decided that I was going to run for the vice president of my SVA chapter. I did run unopposed, so it wasn't a terribly difficult election, but I did win, and I became vice president of my SVA chapter for the next year. And you can see in this picture here at the top right, that is me and my SVH. I had to be different for some reason and wear the green t-shirt instead of the normal blue t-shirt, but that's all of us participating in the Pat Tillman run up in Phoenix, Arizona. Fantastic chapter event that we love taking part in together. When I finally did graduate in 2015, I graduated with a 3.7 GPA, and I was on the dean's list. I had received honors basically from the moment that I reached the Vets Veterans Center. And I felt like I owed this tremendous debt of gratitude to SVA writ large for having this wonderful experience and being responsible for a lot of my academic success. So I decided, I knew I wanted to move out to DC. I knew I wanted to work in government or in a veteran service organization, and because I felt this debt of gratitude, I decided that I was actually going to pursue an opportunity working as an AmeriCorps Vista here in our outreach department at the SVA National Headquarters. So I spent a year working in the outreach department where I met some of you guys that are in the room right now watching this webinar, working as a chapter liaison, informing all of you about our programs and services. And at the tail end of my service, I managed to convince enough people around here that it was a good idea to keep me around. And now my job is the Director of Chapter Support. So why that is the best job in the world is because I get to help build and strengthen those communities on campuses around the country, like mine, that meant so much to me and was responsible for so much of my academic success. It's my job to help build and strengthen those all over the country now. And it's a tremendously rewarding experience, and I want to tell you guys a little bit today about how I can help you and help your chapter. So with that, I'm going to move to the next slide. So, as I mentioned, I started working in our outreach department here at SVA, and some of you might remember when we called it outreach. Outreach has now become chapter support. And the idea is, instead of just informing you about some of the programs and services we provide, I actually want to provide individualized support and guidance to each and every chapter that we have. And the way I can do that best is if you guys sign up for what we call a chapter consultation session. Now that is pretty much just a fancy term for an informal discussion where we get to know each other. And we have that discussion in 3 parts. So the first part is we talk about the current status of your chapter. Where is your chapter now? That can be anything from your chapter history, you know, what's the prestigious history, what have your accomplishments been of your chapter in the past? What are some of your failures been in the past? What have you learned, maybe? What's your experience as a chapter leader? I know someone earlier mentioned in the comment section that they are a brand new chapter leader just coming to the table. They haven't even developed a goal yet. And you're a perfect contender for a chapter consultation session right there. There are some of you in here right now. I know I saw Kate Tillotson in the queue here. I saw Jennifer Hosley, some very experienced and accomplished chapter leaders who have won some awards from SVA. Some of you guys are here who have developed business plans and know how to run successful chapters. But maybe some of you experienced chapter leaders are experiencing some individual specialized issues that you need some help with. That's my job. Number 2, the second part of that conversation, is where do you want the chapter to be? So hopefully while we've been sitting here, and Eric's been teaching you guys have been thinking about some of those goals and objectives that you hope to achieve in the near future. And what I need to know is a general outline of where you think you want the chapter to be in 6 months, a year, short-term, long-term goals. Maybe you have a basic vision of where you think you want to be. And I'm happy to go into our next part of that conversation and talk to you about how I can help you get there. And there's a couple of different ways I can do that. Like I said, the outreach department at one time was dedicated to telling you about some of those programs and resources we already have available. For example, we've got that chapter grant program that is an opportunity for your chapter to earn up to $2,000 depending on the strength of your application. Maybe you're looking to connect with other SVA chapters, and the best way to do that is at our national conference, which is held every January, and it is the world's, not only the world's largest gathering of student veterans, but the world's largest gathering of post 9/11 veterans as well. And a great opportunity to network, make those connections, and find out some of those best practices and shared guidance with some of those other chapters. Some of the other ways that I can help you get there is some of that specialized guidance we were talking about. So the first way is strategic planning, or my Chapter Planning 101 presentation, which is very similar to what we're doing right here. So Eric just went through quite a bit of information with you guys. I know a lot of you are brand new, coming to the table just now, and it might feel like you're drinking through a fire hose right now. It's a lot of information. I know I heard some questions about, will the PowerPoint be available afterwards? Absolutely. I mean, this curriculum is based upon an event that used to take place over 3 days. So we totally understand that it might be taking a lot in right now. Well, the strategic planning, Chapter Planning 101 presentation that I can do with you individually is just the opportunity for us to take it at a little bit of a slower pace and actually go over some of those goals and objectives that you might have. You might want to workshop with me. It's a one-on-one opportunity for us to do that. That takes between half an hour and 45 minutes. And then beyond that, after we develop that business plan, obviously that's not the end of your struggles. Without the plan, it's going to be far more difficult to proceed and to remain focused. But you're still going to have to tweak that plan. You're still going to have obstacles, and some of those other obstacles I can help you with are in terms of fundraising, increasing membership. Those kinds of specialized guidance I have individual presentations for that I can give to you, give you some pointers, try to share some wisdom, some not only from my personal experiences, but some of those successes that other chapter leaders have had. SVA was built upon this idea of peer-to-peer support. And what we've done now is leveraged a lot of those best practices from the chapters that have had success, and we've learned from our failures. And I want to hear from you, not only about the things you're struggling with, but if you're having success in a particular area, please let us know why it was successful, what components of your campus culture you think were involved with that, so I can leverage that wisdom and I can share it with our network as well. That's part of my job as well. So the last way I want to talk to you about how I can help your chapter is through advocacy assistance with your administration. So many of you sitting here right now have gone to your administration, met with them, talked with them about challenges that student veterans on your campuses are facing. You've talked to them about hopefully specific resources that you want allocated. For example, maybe you want a Veterans Resource Center, and your campus hasn't allowed you the space. They're giving you guff about time. About space, about funds, something along those lines. If you're having those issues, I can help you with that. It's advocacy with your administration can be very difficult, and sometimes it's difficult for the administration or for you to get the administration to take you seriously. I can help you with that in a couple of different ways. One way is through a formal letter. So I take the SVA letterhead and I write a formal proposal to them, or a formal kind of justification as to why these resources are important. For example, a Veterans Center is observed as a best practice for supporting student veterans because it gives them a single point of a single location for them to build that sense of community that is one of the best factors for determining success and persistence in terms of graduation rates and stuff like that. That letter also will mention that we are an organization that represents 1.1 million student veterans, and that we have 1,500 chapters around the country. That way we have the ear of many lawmakers here in Washington, D.C., and we think they can do better in terms of support. I've had quite a bit of success with this in the past, and it's one of the easiest ways I can help you achieve what you want, the goals you're trying to achieve in terms of advocacy. The other way I can help you do that too is through direct contact. I am more than happy to call those folks up. You give me a name, a phone number, a title, I'm more than happy to talk to them, whether with you, maybe you want to put me on the conference line and have me offer some justifications for the allocation of these resources, or you want me to contact them individually and set up some individual time for me to talk about how they can provide better support. I'm happy to do both of those things. So really I want you to think of me as a resource not only for individualized guidance, but in terms of advocacy as well. So with that, in terms of thanking me as a resource. I'm going to give you guys a whole bunch of my contact info right here, right now. So my email address here is, my personal email address is mark.mckenna@studentveterans.org. As Eric mentioned, we're going to talk to you about networking here in a minute. So please, in keeping with that, add me on LinkedIn. There's my LinkedIn URL right there. And you can always call us at 202-223-4710, dial number 2 for chapter support. And then if you want to set up that chapter consultation session, the best way to do that is to email us at contact@studentveterans.org. Put chapter consultation session in the subject line. We will schedule that in the near future. I am so excited and so proud to be able to offer these opportunities to you guys tonight. I thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to sit here with us and join us in the first iteration of Chapter Leadership Academy. We hope this is one of many, so I can't wait to see the rest of you. And in the meantime, please schedule those chapter consults. I'm excited to connect with you. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to my friend from the Easter Seals Foundation, Mr. David Muir. Thank you so much.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, my name is David Muir, and I... Mouse.
Good.
All right. Apologize for the sloppiness. My name is David Muir. Welcome. Why am I here? Well, I am partnered with the Student Veterans of America. I work for Easter Seals, the Veteran Staffing Network, and our program in brief is laser focused on helping anybody from the military community, be it veteran, guard, reserve, somebody making the transition, military spouse, even dependent kids, caregivers of wounded warriors, make a successful transition to a meaningful career. And we dovetail very well with what the Student Veterans of America is working on. And so they've asked me to come and talk with you a little bit about some of the techniques we use in job search and how to apply those to solving some of the challenges you face at the chapter level. So why? Well, I, on my 17th birthday, swore into the United States Army National Guard for Virginia at the Baltimore MEP station and went to Fort Benning, Georgia between my junior and senior year in high school. I did 6 years as an M60 machine gunner in a light infantry division, and after that I left. Went on to become a chef and restaurateur for about 12 years, and then made a transition after I got married into the staffing business. And so now I help our brothers and sisters find ways to market themselves effectively, and if I'm able to, I place them in client companies. So when the team here at the SVA asked me to be a part of this, what I wanted to do is make sure that we developed content that was meaningful and relevant to you at the chapter level. And I want to give a shout out to a couple friends of mine that I had a chance to interview, Chase and Jennifer. If you're out there watching, I hope you are. Thank you very much for your input. So just a couple of demographic pieces I thought were interesting is one of the folks that I spoke with is at a university with a pretty large student body, about 20,000 people. And inside the SVA chapter, they've got about 7 active members, but there's at least 200 veterans who are registered on campus. The other university, much smaller, as you can see, 2,000 people involved. That particular chapter has about 120 people who have registered to participate in events, but truthfully they only have about 20 or 25 people who are actively engaged. And so very different demographic numbers, But a couple of common themes emerged as I was speaking with both of these folks, and that is, one, we have challenges building awareness and developing our membership at our chapter level, and two, we have challenges in converting people who say they want to be involved, whether it's a veteran, family member, or veteran supporter, from just being registered to actually being an active participant. And so hearing those common themes, what I wanted to do was try and provide some thoughts and some suggestions and techniques that might empower you at the chapter level to really not only grow the number of men and women who are involved in your chapter, but convert those who sign up and raise their hand and say, yes, I want to be involved, to actually being a participating member. So we're going to start with the second one first, and that's converting those people who have already signed up and said they want to be a part of your organization from just a name and an email address to actually someone who shows up. So 4 key thoughts here. WIFM, what's in it for me? We'll talk about that here in a minute. Signature events, really, really important. Relationships to help get the word out, and then some type of award or recognition system. So let's do a little bit of a deeper dive. When we think about the WIFM, what's in it for me? Think about it when you go and you purchase a car, or you buy a landscaping service, or any other purchase that you might make. You want to make sure that there's going to be some type of real benefit you receive for investing your dollars. Now, I realize that most chapters don't have any type of monetary obligation to be involved, but those people who are involved in your chapter are making an investment, and that investment is in time. And it's really critical to make sure that those men and women who are willing to donate their time to your cause get something out of it. And remember, we're not talking about a typical college student at a 4-year university, 18 to 20 years old. Most of them don't have kids, marriage, or other obligations, so they've got a lot of free time. Most of the men and women who are involved with us have a higher likelihood of families, outside work, maybe elderly parents that they have to take care of, so their time is extremely valuable. We want to make sure that they feel comfortable about being a part of what you do. And so one of the things I kept hearing back from both Jennifer and Chase was that the events that their chapters held, those events that had the beneficiary being a veteran-oriented cause, tended to have higher participation rates. And that's not surprising. If you think about who we are as prior service members, we want to give back to our brothers and sisters. We want to be involved in causes that are going to help someone who's struggling and maybe not as far along as we are. And so I really challenge each one of you that when you are going to hold some type of specific activity or event, really look at what type of veteran challenges your community is facing and try and orient that programming towards benefiting the veteran community. There's a higher conversion likelihood of getting people who say they want to be involved to actually show up. Whether these causes be supporting the homeless, if there's a homeless population of veterans, maybe it's helping to provide funds for needy families for food, maybe it's helping to provide transportation for a veteran who needs access to a job. There's a lot of different ways that your community can create activities that are going to help benefit our brethren. And you also want to make sure that when you're getting the word out to a prospective person or to someone who's registered but hasn't really shown up, you want to make sure they get the value statement of their investment in time. And that can be through interviews with people who have been directly affected by the work that your chapter has done. This could be pictures, stories, heck, it could even be something in the local newspaper that highlights it. But make sure that these men and women understand what positive impact their investment in time is going to make for that community. Next thing is signature events. I want to talk about this. It's really, really easy to have a bunch of different events, but it's not easy to be really great at all of them. And so what I challenge you to do is think about signature events. And the example we have there on the screen is from the University of Kansas. When I was doing research for this presentation, I noticed that they have a Run to Remember, and it was the 8th year in a row that they did it. something very powerful about that. I want you to understand, when you're good at what you're good at, think your primary MOS when you first got into the military. You were trained to be a specialist in that MOS, and at the end of the day, you're going to be really good at that. So be good at what you're good at. As you build progressive annual participation in the same event, setup gets easier, breakdown gets easier, marketing gets easier, you begin to build momentum, you have people who are coming back and continuing to participate. As a matter of fact, these types of events held annually can even bring people back after they're in the alumni phase and moved on with their life beyond school. So this is a way for you to continue to have signature events that continue to grow over time. And you're in a position right now to really lay the foundation for signature events for your chapter. Having them be predictable, having them be on a consistent weekend in the fall, for example, or in the spring, or whenever it is that you do it, it allows people to plan their lives around it. And that history of participation can, again, create annuals, can create more marketing materials for you to let people know about how beneficial it is to be involved in whatever your signature event is. I do recommend, particularly for those smaller chapters, don't try and have more than one event a quarter. If you're only going to hold 2 events, hold 2 events. Make them awesome events. Don't try and diversify to the point where you're diffused from work, manpower, hands that can get the job done. Next is building relationships and getting the word out. And I want to focus on relationships for a second, because relationships are really what makes the human being happen. We depend on relationships, whether that's family, friends, co-workers, the camaraderie of your squad, unit, fleet, whatever it was. Okay? Those relationships are important, and if you want to help get the word out about your organization, get more people to hear about it, get involved, and show up, you need relationships with people who are going to help you do that. And so let's think about getting the word out. How do we get the word out about our activities, about how do we get the word out to get more people coming to us, get more people involved? Have you thought about veteran service organizations? If you don't know what a veteran service organization, there's an awful lot of them. Everything from the American Legion and AMVETS, for example, down to some of the newer ones like the IAVA, the SVA. Hey, so there's a lot of different organizations that are out there that can help let people know about you. Student organizations on campus, government, and nonprofits in your area, all of them can help to generate interest and participation in your event. If you don't know where to find VSOs in your local area, I've provided a link here in the PowerPoint, but I'm willing to bet you could probably find it. Just a quick Google search on VSO Locator will be able to help you. Also, you want to make sure that you're engaged in social media. You want to tweet out pictures and news of your event. You want to have a Facebook page that you're posting information on. Pictures and videos. We're in a media age. We want to make sure that we're leveraging the fact that you've got the most powerful camera in the history of mankind in your pocket in all likelihood. Snap those pictures, send them out, get some visibility around your program, and tag people. Having this kind of involvement will get more people to see the participation some people are making and make the decision to invest their time to participate as well. And make sure you post regularly if you're using social media. There are a lot of automated tools. Hootsuite, excuse me, is one of many that are out there where you can actually sit down when you're in a time crunch, write out 5, 6, 8, 10 different posts that you want to put out on social media and schedule them so that you don't have to log in every day and post it. It'll automatically take care of it for you. Super important to get the word out so that you will get more people participating. And then the last thought I have here for converting members is an award and recognition system. The reality is we all love recognition, right? Even the humble military, when somebody comes up and says, oh, you're in the military, thank you for your service, and we just kind of look at, yeah, you're welcome, it's my pleasure, that kind of stuff is a common response. But it still feels good. And people like it inherently deep in the core of themselves when they're recognized for being involved in something or having accomplished something. And it's a very powerful tool for you to get more people to participate in your events. One of the chapters that I spoke with, they actually have a point system where any member who shows up and is involved in different activities gets points. And at the end of the year, they have an annual awards banquet, and they recognize that person for being the most engaged and most involved. And you can do that in a lot of different ways. You could have multiple awards, but the reality is we want to make sure that the public knows who Joe or Jane is, the fact that they were willing to donate their time to be involved in what it is you guys are doing, because that is going to motivate them to come again, and that's going to motivate them to grab their friend Larry or their friend Sally and bring them along with them. Public recognition has been a proven tool for increasing engagement, and I want to make sure that you, as leaders, make sure that you acknowledge those people who continue to support you. Last on acknowledgement and recognition is the T-shirt. Everybody loves the T-shirt. Look at the picture. You can tell everybody loves it. I love the T-shirt. Wish the SCA was giving me a T-shirt so I could wear it instead of this, right? But seriously, T-shirts are pretty inexpensive to get. I'm sure you can incorporate them into how you do your fundraising. But they're very inexpensive, and it's a memento. It helps immortalize their participation in their event. Think about it. Do you have a T-shirt of something that you attended a long time ago still in your drawer? And every time you pull it out, it makes you think about that moment. Those T-shirts will help you. The next topic I kind of wanted to talk about was, again, moving into building awareness and generating membership, right? So this is increasing the roster of men and women who are going to be involved, or at least targets for involvement in your activities and in your chapter functions. So 5 core things that we need to talk about to build that momentum. 1, you need a central portal or a website. We're going to talk about this. You need a mouthpiece, building relationships. Sound familiar? And you also want to survey your population and develop content from your membership. We'll talk about those in a bit of a deeper dive here. So starting with a central portal, you know as well as I do, first time anybody hears about you, they want to look you up on the web, right? And so there's a lot of chapters, I understand, that solely focus on Facebook, but listen, there's an awful lot of people who are not involved in social media. They don't want any engagement in social media. So I would challenge you as a chapter leader to really consider not only having a Facebook page, but also generating a website for your organization right there on the web itself. Have your own website. They're inexpensive. They're very easy to build with a lot of the free tools that are out there. And if you're not having your own presence on the web, you're relying on the Facebook platform, you're immediately excluding those people who decided that they don't want to be involved in Facebook. So keep that in mind. But it's a centralized location where you can help push information out to your people. Really important. I also recommend that you invite those people who are registered members of your organization to submit information for posting on your website in the blog form, or invite them to put information up on your Facebook page. You want to get interaction going with your people. They want to have their voice heard. It's going to, again, contribute to the recognition, develop more awareness. More people are going to share this information with their networks to generate more awareness for you. Also, don't rely just on text. We are an image-based world. People think in pictures, and images really help us. Think about how often you read something versus how often you're drawn to a photo or an image. Instagram has made its whole career out of just being image-based. So you want to make sure that you're capturing pictures and videos of all the activities that you do. Get somebody doing the hard work in your fundraiser. Get that team shot outside. Have your friends, have your members send selfies when they're on that run. Get this kind of content flowing, store it in an archive that you can always pull it out. Images make a difference. And last thought on this is tagging posts using hashtags. Really, really important. For those of you who don't understand, you can actually identify Bob or Sarah as a participant in an event, and that's going to trigger on their Facebook page a little notification. When they look on that, you know what that notification does when they see their name tagged? It's a little drip of dopamine. They don't even know it. It hits in the back. It's going to make them feel good. Again, that recognition. We're going to make sure that these men and women are recognized for their participation, and using tags and hashtagging people towards events will allow you to be able to reference that event on a regular basis, bring it back up, particularly if we've got repeating annual events. Next, got a small technical challenge, I apologize. Finding a mouthpiece. Some might call me a mouthpiece. Excuse me. Mouthpieces are really important because they're the men and women that are going to push the message that you're trying to deliver out into the world. If you don't have a mouthpiece, go find one. Actively recruit somebody who's got a marketing skill set, someone who understands the latest social media techniques, understands how to write, understands how to focus on a particular community or demographic that you're trying to approach and get the message to. If you don't have anybody in your current chapter or in your current group of friends that might be able to be involved, go to the marketing department at your university. Gotta believe there's going to be one there. Talk to people. See if maybe you can frame something out, some type of internship or maybe some type of credit course where someone can be involved and help you develop your market strategy, participate in your marketing efforts. You want to make sure that word gets out there, and you need someone who's a linchpin to do that. Also, you want to make sure as the roster of people who are interested in being involved in your organization grows, you may only have a few people right now, 15, 20, 30, but over time that's going to scale. And so you want to make sure that you have some type of way to manage email and marketing activities. There's a lot of inexpensive or free tools out there to help you do that. And I really recommend that you do some strategic planning for the future now by finding a platform that's going to help you get that information. Next, building relationships with relevant groups. We covered this in the previous section a little bit, but I really want to hammer this home. Again, relationships are critical. If you want to get visibility and increase the membership, go to the student organizations. There's an awful lot of places out there that have fraternal and sorority systems. Go meet with those people in the Greek community. Let them know that you exist. You're not trying to steal their membership, but if they've got any veterans or family members who are a part of their chapters, invite them to come and meet with you. They will help become a mouthpiece. You're a respected community. Anybody in their universe is going to come towards you. If you meet, extend the olive branch, let them know that you want to help network. Also, student government. Leaders gravitate towards those things. There's a ton of other student organizations, from the chess club, the debate club, to, I don't know, maybe even basket weaving. These organizations are touching people that you are not. There's a good likelihood, depending on the size of your university, that there are veterans in some of these organizations that don't know you exist. You're not going to be able to touch them. But guess what? By developing relationships with student organizations, providing them some messaging, letting them know that you want to talk to any veterans who get involved, it's a greater chance you're going to get more veterans coming to you because they're your mouthpiece. Excuse me. Also, I encourage you to connect with faculty and administrators at your school. Right? These are men and women who are out there talking to students, again, that you have no access to. Help them understand that the SVA chapter at your school exists, so that when they encounter a student who may be a veteran or a military family member, to let them know about your chapter. Have them pointed to it. Provide them contact information. See if maybe you can get those little hang tags. Everybody knows when you walk through the common area of your school of choice, you want a roommate, rip here, call the phone number. Well, maybe you can do some creative marketing in that space. Are you military? Rip here, come learn about us. Okay. Also, again, VSOs, nonprofits. Now, we're looking for people who aren't necessarily just military, but military supporters, right? So if you think about the VSOs that are in your community, they're already catering to that audience. There's a lot of nonprofits in your backyard that you don't know about. I work for Easter Seals. Who would have thought that they do work for military people? So find those nonprofits, find those VSOs in your community, let them know you exist. Encourage them to come and attend. Encourage them to come and be a part of your chapter. And the last thought on this is state and local officials. Please realize that these men and women rely on people to vote for them, okay? And veterans are a very, very sexy topic right now. So when you have a signature event, invite your local delegates, invite your state senators, invite your senators and your Congress representatives. Get them to come out, write a letter, develop a relationship with their office. If you get them out, you might even get some press out. And guess what? Press helps to increase your visibility, which helps to build more awareness, help increase your membership in your chapter. Then survey the membership. I can't emphasize enough how critical this is. There are stories and stories of thousands and thousands of businesses that thought that they had the best new product or service, and they bring it to market and they flop miserably. And the biggest reason is they didn't talk to their customers and see if they wanted what they were selling. Understand that you may have the best ideas in the world for events, activities for your chapter, but if it's not what your population wants, nobody's going to come. So I would really encourage you to just find some time to survey those members who've already said that they want to be involved. Whether they've attended the function or not, they've at least indicated interest, and that's a great place to start. There's a lot of free tools online that you can use for surveys. Survey Gizmo, Survey Monkey, Chimp. I mean, there's a lot of monkeys, so don't get me wrong. But find a free survey tool that you can go ahead and leverage and gain that data. And then from what these men and women tell you in the survey, that can help you as a leadership frame the types of activities and the types of beneficiaries those activities will receive benefit from during involvement, so that you can create programming that's going to, again, build on what your population wants to see. And then after an event, very critical, just like I'm sure the SBA is going to ask you what you thought about this webinar. Hopefully you give us a good thumbs up, because I know it's a lot of good stuff here. Let them know what you like. Let them know what you didn't like. Let them know what you would like to see that would make things be better. That kind of information is critical in helping to frame and shape programming that's going to get more member engagement. Last thought on that is content from your membership. So when we think about websites and blogs and social media posts, it's a lot, particularly for those populations that are understaffed, for lack of a better way to put it. You know, you got 5 people working in a chapter and there's a million things to do. It's hard to do, right? So get those men and women who want to be involved in your chapter involved. Encourage them to author some stuff that you could put up. Get them to generate content, to share their pictures, to share their videos. All that information is stuff that you can leverage, again, to build your reputation, build your profile, build your presence, build your awareness. And that awareness is going to drive more people to come and find out what your chapter is all about. Again, those survey results can help you shape future activities, and that content that your participants provide you helps shape and frame future marketing efforts that you have. So I know we've only got a bit of limited time. That's me. I'm a big believer of Henry Ford. Whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. I know all of you can. I am here to help you directly. If you need me, please reach out. Or if you're not able to get in contact with me, my friends here at the SBA can certainly plug you in directly as well. All we care about is seeing you be successful at the chapter level, be successful at the human level, get into meaningful career paths, and help grow this thing. And apologize for the technical glitch earlier. I'm going to go ahead and bring in our next colleague to close things out, Miss Karen, who has been really the heartbeat of this entire effort. I want to thank her a lot. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
You're not sharing the screen.
Screen.
Yeah, share screen.
Hi, everyone, and thank you once again for joining us for our first ever Chapter Leadership Academy. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Karen, and I'm a program associate here at SVHQ. If you don't know me, you probably know my email address. I know I send a lot of emails. I'm sorry about that. But just like how your SVA chapter depends on programming, SVA chapter programming depends on needs, wants, and expectations of student veterans on your campus, our national programming depends on the needs, wants, and expectations of all of you. So please share your feedback with us, your questions, your concerns, your likes, your dislikes. We want all of that. Tomorrow, you'll be getting a survey from our research team. If you could take a few seconds to fill that out, tell us what you liked, tell us what you'd like to see next. We would really appreciate that. We love your feedback, and it's how we create quality programming here at SVA National HQ. So thank you once again for joining us, and we hope to see you at our next session of the Chapter Leadership Academy.